Docker is not just one daemon running your container. That old mental model, CLI, daemon, overlay to, container, is dangerously incomplete. Modern Docker is a layered system. The CLI talks to dockerd, which delegates to containerd, which spawns a shim, which invokes runc, which calls the Linux kernel. And for builds, that is a completely separate path through BuildX and BuildKit. In this video, we map every layer, from the top view down to the kernel, so you see exactly what happens inside. Here is the complete modern Docker architecture. At the top, the user tools layer, Docker CLI, Compose, and BuildX. These are your interface. Below that sits dockerd, the main Docker daemon. Think of it as the operations manager. Dockerd delegates to containerd, the runtime logistics manager. Containerd handles container lifecycle and image management on the host. Below containerd, each running container gets its own shim process, a babysitter that keeps the container alive even if the daemon restarts. The shim invokes runc, the low-level OCI runtime that creates the isolated environment. And at the very bottom, the Linux kernel, namespaces, cgroups, secump, mounts. This is the real enforcement layer. Notice two distinct paths branch off, the run path and the build path. Let us zoom into each component. First, the Docker CLI. When you type docker run jinx, or docker build, or docker ps, the CLI packages your command into an API request and sends it to dockerd over a Unix socket at /var/run/docker.sock. Think of it as the reception desk. You make your request, and it routes to the right department. Next, dockerd. This is the main Docker daemon, the operations manager. It orchestrates images, containers, networks, volumes, authentication, and plugins. It exposes the Docker API and acts as the control plane. Below dockerd lives containerd. It is the host-scoped runtime manager. Containerd manages the full container lifecycle, creating, starting, stopping, deleting, and handles image transfer and storage. Think of it as the logistics manager. Dockerd tells it what to do. Containerd figures out how. Now, here is a piece many people miss, the shim. There is one shim process per running container. It sits between containerd and the actual container process. If dockerd or containerd restarts, for an upgrade, say, the shim keeps your container alive. It is the babysitter that never leaves. Runc is where the magic happens at the process level. It reads an OCI runtime specification, a JSON config bundle describing namespaces, groups, mounts, and capabilities, then makes the system calls to create the isolated environment and starts the container process. Finally, the Linux kernel. Namespaces isolate what a container can see. Groups limit CPU and memory. Secump filters which system calls are allowed. Mount points control the file system view. The kernel is the law. Everything above is management. Now let us trace the full journey of a single command. Docker run -d -name web P8080:18 jinx :latest. Step 1. The CLI parses your command and sends a create container request to dockerd over the Docker socket. Think of it as handing a work order to the operations manager. Step 2. Dockerd checks. Do we have the jinx image locally? If not, it triggers an image pull. We will cover that path in detail shortly. Assume the image is available. Step 3. Dockerd tells containerd. Create a container with this image and this configuration. Containerd prepares the container metadata and root file system snapshot. Step 4. Containerd spawns a shim process. This shim will own the container for its entire lifetime. If the daemon restarts, the shim keeps the container running. Step 5. The shim invokes runc with the OCI bundle, a JSON config plus the roots directory. Runc now makes the real system calls. It creates new namespaces, PID, network, mount, UTS, IPC. It sets up groups for CPU and memory limits. It pivots the root file system to the container's overlay mount. Step 6. Runc calls exec to start the container's entry point process. Inside the container, this process sees itself as PID1. On the host, it is just another process with a regular host PID. Step 7. Docker sets up networking. A veth pair connects the container's network namespace to the Docker 0 bridge. Writable's NAT rule maps host port 8080 to container port 80. Step 8. The container is now running. Docker marks it as active, and you see it in Docker PS. That single command triggered a cascade across 6 components, from CLI all the way to the Linux kernel. When Docker needs an image, here is what happens. The CLI sends a pull request to Dockerd. Dockerd resolves the registry, Docker Hub by default, and asks container to fetch the image. Containerd contacts the registry and downloads the image manifest, a JSON document listing all the layers, the config, and the platform. Then it pulls each layer blob, a compressed tar, and stores them content addressed in its content store. Think of a warehouse. Each shelf has a unique address based on the contents, not the name. 2 images sharing a layer only store it once. Now here is the big modern change. Fresh Docker Engine 29 installations use the containerd image store by default. This means images and their layers are managed entirely by containerd snapshotters. Older hosts, upgraded from earlier versions, may still use the classic graph driver path, typically overlay 2. At the file system level, overlay 2 still matters. Image layers stack as read-only lower directories. When a container starts, a thin writable upper directory sits on top. Writes hit the upper layer. Delete the container, and that writable layer disappears. The image layers underneath remain immutable. Now, the build path. When you run docker build -t myapp:/latest. That command is routed through Buildx to BuildKit. Think of Buildx as the smart front desk for builds, and BuildKit as the factory floor. BuildKit does not execute your Docker file line by line. It parses the entire Docker file into a directed acyclic graph, a DAG. Independent stages can run in parallel. If stage 1 installs dependencies and stage 2 copies config files, BuildKit runs them simultaneously. Caching is where BuildKit really shines. It fingerprints each build step by its inputs. If nothing changed, the cached result is reused instantly. A cache hit lights up green. Only changed steps execute real work. Secrets handling is built in. You can mount secrets into a build step without baking them into the final image layer. They exist only during that step and disappear from the output. Multi-platform builds are first class. Buildx can produce images for Linux/AMD64 and Linux/ARM64 in a single command, using cross-compilation or QEMU emulation. The output goes to a registry, a local Docker image store, or an OCI tar. BuildKit is the default build engine in Docker Desktop and Docker Engine since version 23. Docker networking blends Docker-managed objects with Linux network primitives. By default, every container joins a bridge network. Each container gets its own network namespace, an isolated network stack. A veth pair acts like a virtual cable. One end sits inside the container namespace. The other end plugs into the Docker 0 bridge on the host, like a virtual switch. When you publish a port, -P8080:80, Docker creates an Writable's NAT rule. Traffic arriving at the host on port 8080 is translated and forwarded through the bridge to the container on port 80. With Compose, services automatically join a shared network. Each service is reachable by its service name. Compose wires up an embedded DNS server so web can reach DB simply by name. For multi-host scenarios, Docker supports overlay networks, a VXLAN-based mesh that spans multiple Docker daemons. And for maximum performance, the host network driver skips the namespace entirely. The container shares the host network stack. Let us talk about what the container actually sees on disk. An image is a stack of read-only layers, each one a file system diff. Think of transparent sheets. The base layer is the OS. The next adds packages. The next adds your application. When a container starts, a thin writable layer is placed on top. Any file the container modifies is copied up to this writable layer. That is copy on write. Delete the container, and the writable layer is gone. The image layers stay untouched. For persistent data, you have two options. Docker volumes, managed by Docker, stored under /lib/docker/volumes. Or bind mounts, linking a host directory directly into the container. Volumes survive container deletion. Bind mounts give you direct host access. The writable layer is ephemeral. That is the key mental model. Containers are not virtual machines. They share the host kernel. So security is layered. Namespaces limit visibility. Groups limit resources. Second filters dangerous system calls. Capabilities trim root powers. A container might have netbind service, but not sysadmin. The Docker socket is the master key. Anyone with access to /var/run/docker sock effectively has root on the host. Adding a user to the Docker group grants root-level privilege. Rootless mode runs the entire Docker daemon and containers as a non-root user. If the daemon is compromised, the blast radius is limited. Containers versus VMs. A VM has its own kernel, its own isolated hardware layer. A container shares the kernel but isolates at the process level. Containers are lighter and faster, but the security boundary is thinner. The best practice, principle of least privilege. Drop capabilities. Enable seccomp. Use read-only root file systems. Run rootless where possible. Let us clearly summarize what changed. The old model taught Docker as CLI, daemon, overlay to, container. That was never the full picture, and today it is even less accurate. Modern Docker sits on top of containerd. The shim and runc are the actual execution path. BuildKit and Buildx are the modern build engine. Fresh Docker Engine 29 installs default to the containerd image store. Older hosts keep the legacy storage layout until you migrate. The correct modern mental model is CLI, Compose, Buildx, to Dockerd, to containerd, to shim, to runc, to the Linux kernel. That is the real stack. Everything else is management and convenience on top. Here is your mental map. Docker is not the thing that runs your container directly. It is the user-facing control layer over a deeper runtime stack. Dockerd orchestrates. Containerd manages lifecycle and images. The shim keeps containers alive across daemon restarts. Runc makes the kernel calls. And the Linux kernel enforces the real isolation. For builds, Buildx and BuildKit handle the entire pipeline from Docker file to image. That is modern Docker architecture in 2026. That is the complete Docker architecture, from CLI to kernel. If this video helped you build a clearer mental model, hit subscribe and share it with your team. Every layer matters when you are debugging production issues at 2 a.m. Thanks for watching.